Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 18 of Levitated. Today I would like to get our rainbow generator running in order to make the rainbow stone, I guess that's what rainbow ingot. Making a rainbow ingot will allow us to get to the overworld and presumably go rebuild it from there or something, I don't know. But in order to make the rainbow generator run, we need to get one of each of these generators up and running in our base. So I've already gone ahead and crafted all the generators, one of each. I think there should be a total of, is it 16 or is it 15? 14, 15, so 16, because the depth or the nether star generator isn't listed there. So is this 9 to a row? 9 plus 7. I have one of each of all 16 of these. I want to set up a dedicated generator that will, well, I guess our nether star generator always runs. It's like, it's never off. As a result, we don't need to set up another star generator. But we do need to set up 15 of these generators to do their thing. Before we do that, I want to start today off by dealing with all of these endermen that are around us. It's kind of annoying to have to watch where I look all the time for fear of, looking at an enderman. So if I make a version obelisk, let's see, has to make some of this. We can tell it to not let any endermen spawn near us. That does seem nifty. So where is my sag mill? What was the other item it was missing? An enderman head? I have enderman heads. I probably just used the wrong type of enderman head. Let's try that again. Oh, it has to be a tormented enderman head. Fancy. Make those, we need another machine. In this case, the slice and splice. So we'll give it a capacitor as usual. And the slice and splice just takes an axe and a pair of shears to do its work. Technically, these are consumed over time, but an axe lasts 1,561 operations. And I assume there are diamond shears, which last an equal, oh, nope, slightly less operations. Close enough to lasting forever that I'm not worried about it. And that should enable us to make the head, which should enable us to make the obelisk. Uh-oh, out of printed circuit boards, it seems. So it seems. All right, let's take a detour then and set up full automation of the printed circuit board. So step one to do that is, let's start with the PCB. Let's move our assembly controller from our old system over here where we have to input and output manually over to our ME system where we can do it automatically. Here it is, all hooked up. It's got a direct connection to 20 bar air pressure, but we step it down to 5 so we don't blow up our thing here. Items are provided into the chest via the interface, and then when they're done, they get placed into this chest, which dumps it into another interface. Items don't have to go back into the ME system, into the same interface that they came from. So, from the beginning, first recipe, in fact, let's even make this a stack-wise recipe, is to make the empty PCBs. This goes into here, and then we should be able to request those. I think I'm going to continue to just manually craft the plastic, and let's also add a recipe for the steel. So as I mentioned, because we filter both the input, or because we filter the output on items, we can't we can't make compressed steel directly in our assembly chamber thing, pressure chamber, because if we were to set compressed steel ingot as one of the outputs that we allow to be extracted, then we can't use it as one of the inputs, otherwise it gets automatically extracted. So the solution for that, I think, is that we will do this to make blocks of steel, and then use blocks of compressed steel as our filtered output. So make one of these. I just want to make sure it works. Goes in there. It becomes a block of compressed steel. Let it out. And voila. Okay. Then we can add the block of compressed steel to here. Oh, no, did that not do it? There we go. And then our recipe can be that a block of steel makes a block of compressed. Yeah, a block of steel makes a block of compressed steel. So, like so. And then we can add another recipe to uncompress, not that, uncompress this if needed, when needed. And that gets around any ambiguity because the block of compressed steel is never put back into the pressure chamber as an input ingredient. It's only ever an output ingredient. Now it's used in other things, but that doesn't cause a ambiguity here. Cool. So I'm gonna go make that plastic. Getting a couple stacks of green and whatever other color plastics should only take a quick minute because we have a whole tank of liquid plastic there waiting for us. So I think it was... I've already forgotten. Is it green for this? Yeah. Give me green plastic. We can even speed that up further by putting speed upgrades into the item conduit. With that conduit upgraded, we make plastics extremely fast. And whoops, looks like I went through all of my plastic tank when working on my last stack of cyan here. So I'll swap it out for a bigger tank so that this problem doesn't occur in the future. But these last few pieces of plastic are crafted slowly. Nonetheless, now I should be able to make these, so have at it. And once the first one crafts, I'll have to also add it to our filter here so that we can automatically extract them. But once it's done, well, here we can just add it to this. What it's called? Empty. There we go. Get these. Back it onto the filter. I don't know why it doesn't work the first time you click sometimes. And those are PCBs. Next step is to take those PCBs and run them through the... So before we ran it through the UV light box and then tossed it into the etching acid. Once we have the assembly machine, it's easier. You just have to put it through the assembly controller and it does both steps at once without taking the 10 minutes in the box and the 5 minutes in the acid. So this is both faster and easier. To test it out, I'll just order these again. That should dump into here where... Oh, I forgot to set. See, this is why we test things. Input, output. That's not how this is supposed to work. IO unit, laser drill. Hello? Assembly machine. Breaking and replacing the misbehaving IO unit appears to have fixed it. No clue why it was broken like that, but it's etching them now. Alright, so last step is to, well, I guess the next step is to make the transistors and capacitors that go onto it. These are also made in the pressure chamber just like before. The last step is to put everything together into the assembler. I'm just going to continue batch crafting the solder. It's making it for now requires a smeltery, and it's, I think, easier just to create, 500 buckets in one go in our big smeltery than it is to try to create a little smeltery dedicated to stocking it. So 152 buckets of solder, that makes 152 circuits. I guess 156 because there's 4 buckets in there. If that's not enough, we can make more. I can make another batch of 500 buckets and never have to think about it again. So printed circuit board. How many have you? Can I do like 20? There we go. And we're off. Perfect. Last step is just to put the finished product back. So now printed circuit boards are, whoopsies. Export all fluids. Why are you not doing the thing again? Export all fluids. Oh. In a multiple of 1 bucket. There we go. And now we are making PCBs fully automatically, well, on demand, but I don't have to worry about all those microcrafting steps anymore. Which lets us then make our aversion obelisk. So this thing, if we give it some power, come on, Enderman, and a capacitor, it uses 720 RF a tick to prevent mob spawns in a huge area. I don't know what exactly the radius is, but it's very large. So, oh wait, it says in the tooltip, 161 by 161 by 161. It doesn't prevent all mob spawns. To tell it to not spawn a mob, you have to put a soul vial of that mob inside. So, here we go. There we go. Now it says range 160. But yeah, the entire area that's covered here will no longer spawn Endermen. The Endermen that are already spawned obviously don't go away, but I think if I just fly far enough away to despawn them, and then fly back, no new ones should respawn. And now I don't have to watch, look at the ground the whole time to avoid accidentally looking an Enderman in the eye. Cool. So back to the rainbow generator now. Let's take all these generators that I made and just lay them out in a nice grid so that we can easily supply them with items and redstone control. See ya. I think sometimes the Endermen that spawn all the way over there get withered by the generator I have running over there, and then when they get withered by it, they like get upset and teleport all around and eventually end up here. Whatever. All 16 generators are laid out in a nice grid and hooked up to a master redstone control. There's a couple generators that produce unpleasant effects to be near. We've already seen the Nether Star generator. I'm not going to actually put items into this one, but I included it here just so that we had the full 4x4 grid. But there's a couple others. I think the Death generator produces some unpleasant effects to be nearby. So we have a massive switch here to turn them on or off from afar. If that's not far enough, I can move them further. Anyways, for each one of these generators, or for some, they might come in pairs, I will put a ME interface. We're going to need a lot more of these. And in the instance of this one, right, the furnace generator and the survivalist generator both are just powered by coal. So this covers some of the easier ones. Obviously, I'll probably have to run a whole 32 channels over to here, or make a P2P channel drop. But that's one of the easier ones to power. So like so, and like so. All right, so 2 down. We'll use whole blocks of coal for the overclock generator. It burns fuel for significantly less than the actual stated burn time. Along, let's see. Does this tell me? In a overclock generator, yeah, a whole block of coal lasts for a whopping 0.2 seconds. So we might even need extraction speed upgrades on the on this item conduit. Now, they're in my inventory. Now, we don't produce nearly enough fuel to run all of our generators at 100% uptime. However, realistically speaking, because the rainbow generator produces 25 million RF per tick that all these other generators are running, we only need to run it for, a couple ticks at a time. Right? If we run it for 4 ticks, well, here, the coal here runs for, what was it, 0.2 seconds? So that's 4 ticks, right? I don't know, something like that. Yeah, that's 4 ticks. So in the 4 ticks that one block of coal burns for, we produce 4 times 25 million, 100 million RF. So the short burn time isn't really a problem. We just have to make sure that we can run all the generators in one burst long enough to make the rainbow whatever. Rainbow stone, was it? Nope, rainbow ingot. Nope, not this one. It was a rainbow something. Here we go, the rainbow stone. We need to keep our rainbow generator active in one burst long enough for a resonator task. Although we could even just stack our resonator full with a bunch of speed upgrades, and I'm sure this won't take all that long. I've hooked up all the generators that are basically 100% trivial. So the fuel burning ones that burn fuels we've already have automated. The frosty generator, we automated ice last time, so ice goes into there. Ender generator gets ender pearls. The death generator gets rotten flesh from our deep mob learning. And the potion generator, this one's a little bit trickier. We turn it on all the time just so you can see. When it's done, it actually leaves a glass bottle behind, and you have to make sure you extract that glass bottle fast enough. In fact, even right now with the system I have set up, it's sometimes just a hair slow on the uptake to extract the glass bottle and insert a new item, which causes it to periodically stutter. I don't actually know if what I have right now with the periodic stutter is okay, because I don't know if the rainbow stone resets its progress if the rainbow generator is off, or if it just pauses and continues later. So we shall see. If we have to do something to make this never stutter, I probably just need another form of faster item transport to go. Like right now I'm extracting the glass bottle with the auto import, and it's probably just not fast enough. We can use a highly upgraded transfer node as very fast item transport. But that'll do for now, I think. So that covers all the trivial ones. Let's go on to the ever so slightly less trivial ones next. So, slimy and Helioteusis can both burn things that come from deep mob learning. So the Ender Dragon one is perhaps a little bit trickier because it means we have to fight like 7 Ender Dragons, but we can just do that and set up Ender Dragon deep mob learning, and that'll produce Dragon's Breath for us. Alternatively, actually, let's just go fight one dragon, bottle a bunch of its breath. They last for 10 minutes of breath. If we get, you know, a couple 10, 20 Dragon's Breath, that'll just last us enough. But slime, I think it can burn all the various colored slime, right? Yeah, it can burn all the colored slime, but it also needs milk buckets. So, I guess we have to set up a cow auto milker for that. There doesn't appear to be a machine in this pack that does auto milking, so we'll make our own. A mechanical user can right-click on cows when set on apparently entity mode, so all we have to do is provide it with buckets. That's provided through an ME interface. I put a crafting card in here so it'll automatically craft buckets, although it's not crafting buckets right now. I might have forgotten to put in the bucket recipe. Generally speaking, I'm pretty adverse to using crafting cards, although for very simple crafts like this one, right, literally a one-step recipe, the crafting tree will never be more nested than this. I'm not too worried about the performance impact of that. In addition, this pack is probably just not a pack where we are too worried about Applied Energistics network performance as a whole. So, yeah, it should be fine. Anyways, oh, I know why it's not making buckets. It's because I didn't hook up my P2P tunnel again. So, I did a weird thing where I ran my cable underneath here so it doesn't accidentally connect to the other stuff I have going on. Now that that's plugged in, this should start auto-crafting buckets. Any second now. Auto-crafting buckets. Come on, don't do this to me. Ah, what's wrong with you? Buckets. I'm pretty sure it's... Hold on. This is output side. Are these devices online? These devices are online. And it is... Oh, there we go. Okay. It was just taking a second for it to realize it had to do work. But yeah, that fills the mechanical user with buckets. The mechanical user, even if it tries to use a bucket of milk on entity mode, it won't place it. I think it might be because milk is not placeable in world in this pack. Yeah. So, we can't accidentally place the bucket of milk here flooding the cow's pen. So anyways, eventually the filled buckets get stored into a drawer here. I guess when it gets filled up like this, it just stops running, and that's all right. But that'll provide us with buckets of milk for our slimy generator. Suspect this generator also, yeah, it leaves the empty bucket behind, so it has to be extracted when we're done. But because this thing takes a lot longer to burn through a bucket of milk relative to how quickly the potion generator goes through empty, just a water bottle, there's no worry that we can't extract it fast enough to keep the generator running all the time. I haven't done anything about the power coming out of these generators yet. The generators do automatically stop running when their buffers get full, so I'm probably just going to trash the energy output from these, because relative to what the rainbow generator makes, relative to the 25 million, all of these things running together might make 10,000. I think the overclocked is 4,000, the nether star is 4,000. We're not even going to turn on the nether star here. And like between everything else, I don't think they make another 2,000 to 3,000 put together. Next up, the explosive generator. We will use TNT because it gives us a it lasts a lot longer than the just gunpowder does. And I just stole some TNT from our mana farm for this. The one sack of TNT, which is all I stole for the time being, lasts for like 3 hours, so good enough. Another star generator, we are skipping. Pink generator, let's do this one next. This can burn any pink colored item, and they all burn for half a second, regardless of like what it is. So I think our best bet is to burn glass panes of some sort. That way we can get the best mileage out of our pink dye. So we'll probably make glass, and then dye it pink, and then turn glass into panes, right? That way we get, yeah, for each 6 glass we get 16 panes, and that'll be a good enough deal for now. To get the pink dye, I'm just going to right click Pinoy with bone meal for a little while, and because each piece of pink dye turns into a whole bunch of pink glass panes, it's what, 8 to 1 into glass, and then like another 2.5-ish to 1 from panes to the actual item. These 48 Pinoy here should probably make us enough pink to last us a long time. If it turns out we need more down the line, I can consider fully automating it. It's not difficult or anything, but I'm just lazy. Up, we have the Magmatic Generator. This, I'm just taking a mechanical squeezer, squeezing netherrack for lava, and feeding it into this. I don't think it ends up being a net energy positive operation, although perhaps using netherrack it is. What, per bucket of lava we get 20 times, so we get 100,000 RF? That's probably net energy positive. It doesn't tell me how much energy this uses, but it's almost assuredly less than 100,000. I don't know, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Have to turn on auto eject here. Cool. Standing on the disenchantment, we'll leave that one for a bit. Let's go collect some dragon's breath. Just kidding. I already had 8 left over from, I guess, when we killed the dragon the first time. So 8 of these last 80 minutes. Good enough. We'll call that done. Heated redstone. This uses both lava as well as redstone, and it produces a lot more energy per millibucket of lava, although adds a cost of redstone. So I'm going to set up a thing very similar to this to squeeze lava, and then we'll just add redstone to it as well. Done. So I don't know why I'm choosing to give it its own squeezer instead of sharing squeezers between the two of them, but whatever, gets the job done. Next up, culinary. This can burn any type of food. I'm thinking we will just make potatoes with deep mob learning, cook them to this. Fancy. Make potatoes with deep mob learning, cook them through the special cooker that doubles food, and then throw them into here. I imagine that'll find it in the list just to see how long it burns for. Cook potatoes, 30 seconds each. So for, yeah, that'll be plenty. Zombie deep mob learning really is versatile. Gives us rotten flesh, which we're burning, and it makes our leather. Iron, obviously that's useful. And now potatoes for our culinary generator as well. In case it wasn't clear, the food doubler is the trivection chamber augment. In a redstone furnace, this just makes each input produce 2 output. So we get twice as many baked potatoes as we get potatoes. How does that work? Don't ask me. Alright, what's left then? We're skipping nether star. So all of that's left is disenchantment. This can do any enchanted items. They burn for an amount of time roughly proportional to how long they are, or how like the level of the enchantment. So a level 1 aqua affinity burns for 1 second, whereas a smite 4 burns for 13 minutes. Looking at this, I think my plan is just we will enchant random level 30 enchantments using the enchanter. Ooh, oh, it cycles through stuff, but yeah, we'll burn through I'll make level 30 enchantments with the enchanter, and then we'll just toss them all in here, and you know, some will be good, some won't, and we get what we get. This enchanter is definitely going to need speed upgrades because the average nether star enchant takes 30 minutes to do, and that's almost assuredly we get less than 30 minutes of average burn time out of a single enchant. In fact, I probably want some type of test to serve as a buffer here, because not all of our enchants will burn for more than the minute and 46 seconds. So let's do insert to brown. There we go. So this chest will act as an enchant buffer. I'm pretty sure the average enchant we get for another star will burn for more than the minute 45.85 seconds. As long as the average beats it, we'll be okay. So anyways, once we have a couple enchanted books from there, I think we are ready to turn this on. Giving a quick once over through this, the only things that don't have stuff plugged in are the dragons, the Heliatosis generator, which has 80 minutes of Dragon's Breath in it, and the Nether Star generator, which is already running elsewhere in the base. So, just check this. 50 generators are not running, correct, but as soon as this enchants a book, and it looks like it's, oh no, I put a book in here to get it started. I was just curious if it would spit out a regular book when it was, like when it started or not. Kind of like how the bucket, you know, we get the bucket and the bottle back, but no, we don't get the book back. The book is consumed. So anyways, I guess that means we're ready to start because I did put a book in here. So let's test it out by just flipping the switch. And perfect. We flip the switch and this thing starts doing its shininess. The fact that it's shiny means that it was outputting, it was generating RF. It's not outputting it anywhere yet because I didn't hook it up to anything. So let's hook up our rainbow generator to some type of power source. Perhaps a vibrant capacitor bank. I don't know how many we need. Does this tell me? It's 5 million, its IO limit. We need something that can accept RF at 25 million RF a tick, at least. So I imagine a number of vibrant capacitor banks would be the option here. Let's just see what it takes to, well, let's make one and see how much energy we can IO out of one, and then see how many we need to handle 25 million RF per tick. Well, that's awkward. Each vibrant capacitor bank IOs 250,000 RF a tick. To pull off a vibrant capacitor bank multi-block that can handle 25 million RF a tick requires 1,000 vibrant capacitor banks. Now this limit is per connection, and I guess even energy contents do less than that. Maybe we don't need this much energy. I've got an idea that I think should work out pretty well to get all 25 million per tick out of the rainbow generator without having to make 1,000 power cells or energy cells. The Flux Networks transfer net system is throughput unlimited. It goes up to 2.1 billion RF a tick. And the limit I talked about for this is per side or per connection. So if we just use Flux Networks effectively as a phantom energy face, we can cause this, effectively we can build a very large capacitor bank multi-block and then just plug into it on a lot of different points with a bunch of flux points. And flux points are far, far cheaper. In fact, oops, out of obsidian. Well, if I wasn't out of obsidian, flux points would be far, far cheaper than a whole bunch of vibrant capacitor banks. So I started crafting some number of them. Why are these just scheduled and not crafting? Hello? But yeah, I started crafting, I think it was like 30-ish capacitor banks. And once those are done, we should be able to get most of the energy out of the rainbow generator just with 30. If it turns out we need more, we can craft another, 20 to 30 more reasonably quickly. I'm using a lattice like this of capacitor banks and flux points. We get the maximum number of connections from number of connection points, which should result in having the easiest time transmitting energy into the capacitor bank. The only thing is you have to make sure your capacitor bank is actually connected. So there's one central backbone running down the middle right up in here that makes sure it's all one big multi-block. So anyways, the Flux Configurator is a very nice copy-paste tool for Flux network configurations. As is, each connection now can transfer 500,000 RF a tick. So if we have a total of 50 connection points, we should be able to get the full million or the full 25 million into it. Now we need another 50 connection points to get the full 25 million out of it, or depending if we need the full 25 million out. We probably don't, but I'm going to add a couple more to add a couple more Flux plugs this time. That'll be on our main energy network that provide energy to the rest of the base. Once we have this set up, power will be a thing of the past. It'll be completely and fully automated. Well, okay, it's not like 1,000% fully automated because there's a couple things, you know, like our Dragon's Breath that aren't fully automated, but like it's close enough to fully automated. Each thing of Dragon's Breath produces 500 million trillion RF. So yeah, power will be a thing of the past. Realized that I had to also put capacitor banks on the bottom layer here, otherwise these, like the one right here, would not have been connected. So anyways, after a little bit of redesigning, we're up to 1.1 million RF per tick per connection as a transfer limit, and for output I just have a single flux plug on my main network. It can do, with the limit disabled, it can do 1.1 million times the number of connections it has, which is 5. So 5 times 1.1 is 5.5 million RF. We're not going to consume 5.5 billion RF. So the reason I wanted to use a big capacitor bank was so that we could use a power monitor, and I believe this requires at least one conduit in order to work. So don't show me a bar. One conduit here, and then a power monitor, and then we can set this to have redstone control. So we want to emit a signal when the storage is less than, let's see, 50% full, and then stop emitting a signal when the storage is greater than 90% full. And hook that up to that. And that'll automatically turn our rainbow generator on for us in very short pulses to fill up our capacitor bank. And you can see it's full now. I guess apparently 90% is. If we shut it off at 90%, it takes a little bit of time for it to actually shut off. And by the time it's actually shut off, it appears to have maxed out the capacitor bank. Probably because the capacitor bank as a whole holds like a couple ticks worth of output from the rainbow generator. But let's go something like 25 to 75. That should work. All right, I can still force it on by flipping the lever, because when we're doing our craft, we'll probably just want to force it on. And actually, with this thing working so well, I'm going to hook up nether stars to this and just turn off our always on nether star generator, because it doesn't have to be always on anymore. And then instead of using a flux plug here to extract energy from this network to power all the wireless parts of the base, we'll switch that over to a flux. Why do I have... Wait. Oh. They keep their settings when you break them. Cute. We'll switch that to a flux point to supply energy to this network now. So now this is outputting energy to power all of our loot fabricators and whatnot. I also moved the simulation chamber and loot fabricator for the wither sims and the nether stars over to join the rest of our deep mob learning stuff. It doesn't have to sit off on its own anymore because it's no longer trying to murder us for getting near it. So anyways, as you can see, our base's current energy demand is apparently 13,000 RF a tick, give or take. And if ever that causes, well, when that causes this vibrant capacitor bank to get drained low enough, it will automatically turn on our rainbow generator for a couple of ticks in order to craft, or in order to recharge the thing. So anyways, I'm gonna snag this resonator, and let's see about making that rainbow block now. It looks like 5 speed upgrades is the most we can put in here. It takes 384 GP with 5, and we have a passive load of 90 GP. So if we ever go over, every GP consumer stops running. So for that switch to force it on, and that might periodically stop for like a tick or two, right? When our potion thing halts. But it looks like, yeah, it looks like this just pauses when the rainbow generator stops running. So there we go. We now have a piece of rainbow stone. And I suspect this will be the only rainbow stone we need. There's a couple more steps now to turn the rainbow stone into a rainbow ingot. However, I think we are out of time today. So let's leave off here. We are right at the end of the nether part of our journey. We'll come back next time, work our way towards the overworld, and see what that has waiting for us. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.